This deck is called Creed Burn. It is named after the continuous trap card Creed, that punishes players for drawing cards outside of their draw phase. During the end phase of a turn within which he has drawn cards outside of his draw phase, he receives damage to his life points equal to 500 points times the number of cards he has drawn during this very same turn. Creed is this deck's centerpiece, and that's why we want to make the opponent forcefully draw lots of cards. For sure, we also want to minimize the risks that puts us in such a position, in which the opponent generates a huge amount of card advantage and might run us over with his hand size being so large. But before I cover these risk-diminishing cards, I want to discuss the options we have in making the opponent draw cards. First of all, there is the 1800 beater known as the Bistro Butcher. Whenever the Bistro Butcher inflicts battle damage to the opponent, he forces the opponent to draw 2 cards, meaning they would receive the battle damage plus 1000 burn damage for 1 copy of Creed on our side of the field. So as to guarantee that we deal battle damage with the Bistro Butcher, I opted to play 2 copies of Big Bang Shot, an equip spell which enables Bistro Butcher to deal piercing damage, plus boosts his attack power by 400 points. If the opponent has many cards in his hand, card destruction in conjunction with Creed will be most effective in dealing burn damage. Let's say the opponent has to discard 6 cards with card destruction and draws the same number of cards. He receives 3000 points of burn damage with 1 copy of Creed on our side of the field. In the opposite case, if the opponent has 3 or less cards in his hand, we are able to activate the quick play spell Mind Wipe. Imposing the opponent to add their entire hand back to their deck and draw the same number of cards. Working similarly is the normal trap card Disturbance Strategy, which forces the opponent to put all cards in their hand back to their deck and draw the same number of cards. This implies Disturbance Strategy works with large hand sizes as well, unlike Mind Wipe, which only works with 3 or less cards in the opponent's hand. The flip effect monster, Hiro's Shadow Scout, imposes to draw 3 cards on the opponent and makes him discard all spell cards amongst those. Morphing Jar is another useful flip effect monster that forces the opponent to draw 5 cards and consequently take 2500 damage to their life points during the end phase. Reviving both Morphing Jar and Hero Shadow Scouts in face down defense position and thus reuse their effects is done by using the flip effect monster Spear Cretin. But you could also use Shadowgrave, the spell card Shadowgrave. Now onto the cards that diminish the risk of being out-resourced by the opponents drawing so many cards. In a late game scenario, within which the opponent has a hand size of at least 5 or more cards, we can activate the trap card Heavy Slump, which I play as a 2-off. Heavy Slump imposes to combine his whole hand with his deck on the opponent and draw 2 cards, meaning they will at least go -6 in terms of card advantage. As it is only feasible in a late state of the game, I only play 2 copies of Heavy Slump. If we draw them early on, we can hang on to them and activate it once the time has come. Another useful card to help us in keeping up with the opponent from getting resources is being achieved by playing the continuous trap Appropriate. With it, whenever the opponent draws outside his draw phase, we get to draw 2 cards as well. As it interferes with creeds in that we also take 1000 damage whenever Appropriate activates, we should use it with great care and maybe destroy it with our own Heavy Storm or Breaker the Magical Warrior later on. Exiled Force is there for searchable spot removal of opposing monsters, and Sangan can search any of the smaller monsters, including the in this deck almighty Morphing Jar. Possibly game ending. Then I play the Trinity, Pot of Greeds, Graceful Charity, Delinquent Duo, Snatch Steal, and Premature Burial to take control of the field presence, and double Nobleman of Crossout to dispose of the face-down monsters the opponent may revive with our own Cretin's effect. Eventually, one Mirror Force and the all-rounder staple burn card Ring of Destruction round off the deck profile. As always, the decklist can be found in the video description, and thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!